The lightning bolt of success never strikes randomly. It is attracted to the rod of preparation, planted firmly in the ground of purpose, rising high above the landscape of mediocrity. Your life is too precious to be left to chance, too valuable to drift aimlessly on the currents of circumstance. I stand before you today with an urgent message that could transform your existence from ordinary to extraordinary. Look at your hands. Those hands were designed to build something significant. Look at your mind. That mind was created to conceive greatness. Look at your heart. That heart was fashioned to pursue passion with unrelenting determination. Success is never an accident, never. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities. The word accident suggests something unplanned, unintended, unexpected. But true success leaves nothing to chance. I grew up in poverty, surrounded by limitations that threatened to define my future. But I discovered a profound truth that liberated me from the prison of circumstance. I was not a product of my environment, but a product of my decisions. When I changed my thinking, I changed my life. And today I declare to you with absolute conviction that the same power lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened. We live in a culture that celebrates the myth of the overnight success. We see the athlete holding the championship trophy, but miss the thousands of hours of practice in empty gyms when no one was watching. We applaud the business tycoon cutting the ribbon on a new headquarters, but overlook the years of rejection, failed ventures, and sleepless nights that preceded that moment. We admire the best-selling author, but forget about the pile of manuscripts rejected by countless publishers. Let me tell you something with absolute clarity. There is no such thing as overnight success. What appears as sudden achievement is actually the result of consistent, persistent effort applied over time. Success doesn't happen to you. Consider Thomas Edison. Did he accidentally invent the light bulb? No. He intentionally tested over 10,000 different materials before finding the right filament. Was Steve Jobs an accidental innovator? Absolutely not. He methodically combined artistic sensibility with technological precision to create products that revolutionized multiple industries. Did Oprah Winfrey stumble into media dominance? Never. She deliberately honed her craft through decades of dedicated work, starting as a local news reporter before building her media empire. The dangerous seduction of believing in luck rather than preparation is that it robs you of your greatest power, the power to create your future by design rather than default. When you attribute success to luck, you surrender control of your destiny to external forces. But when you embrace the truth that success is engineered, not accidental, you reclaim your authority as the architect of your achievements. The most tragic figure in society is not the person who tries and fails, but the one who never tries because they're waiting for success to accidentally find them. They're waiting for a train that will never arrive at their station because that train only stops where the tracks of purpose and preparation have been intentionally laid. If success is not accidental but intentional, then it must operate according to discernible principles that can be learned, applied, and mastered. I have discovered 5 immutable laws that govern all authentic achievement. Master these principles, and you master the science of success. The first and most fundamental principle is discovering your purpose, the reason you exist. Purpose is not something you create, it's something you uncover. It's the intersection of your natural abilities, your deepest passions, and the world's greatest needs. When you operate within your purpose, you access a renewable source of energy and inspiration that sustains you through inevitable challenges. Purpose answers the question, why? Why are you here? Why do you matter? Why should anyone care about your work? Without purpose, achievement is hollow. With purpose, even small accomplishments become deeply meaningful. To discover your purpose, ask yourself, what problem were you born to solve? What injustice makes your heart burn with indignation? What activity causes you to lose track of time? What would you do even if you were never paid for it? The answers to these questions contain the seeds of your purpose. Remember, purpose precedes planning. Purpose determines direction. Purpose defines success. Without clarity of purpose, you may climb the ladder of success only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. The second principle is developing vision clarity. Vision is the ability to see beyond current realities to future possibilities. It is the capacity to transform the invisible into the visible. Vision answers the question, what? What will success look like when fully manifested? What specific outcomes will you create? Vision is not fantasy. It is foresight based on insight. It is seeing the potential in situations where others see only problems. Vision gives form to purpose and provides the target for your efforts. Your vision must be clear enough to be described in vivid detail. It must be compelling enough to sustain your motivation through difficulties. It must be concrete enough to be measured and evaluated. Without vision, purpose remains abstract. With vision, purpose becomes practical. To clarify your vision, create detailed mental pictures of your desired outcomes. Write specific descriptions of what success looks like in each area of your life. Develop the habit of visualization, mentally rehearsing successful execution of your plans before taking action. Remember, vague vision produces vague results. Clear vision produces clear results. The clearer your vision, the stronger its magnetic pull on your daily decisions. The third principle is strategic planning. Planning answers the question, how? How will you transform vision into reality? How will you navigate from your current position to your desired destination? Strategic planning involves breaking down enormous visions into manageable milestones and specific action steps. It requires prioritizing opportunities, allocating resources effectively, and establishing systems for measurement and accountability. The most common reason people fail to achieve their dreams is not lack of desire, but lack of strategy. They are powerful wishes, but weak plans. They focus on the destination without mapping the journey. They concentrate on what they want without clarifying how they'll get it. To develop effective strategies, study those who have achieved similar goals, learn the principles behind their success, then adapt those principles to your unique circumstances. Identify the critical few actions that will produce the majority of your results and focus your energy accordingly. Remember, hope is not a strategy. Wishing is not planning. Activity is not achievement. Only strategic action moves you systematically toward meaningful success. The fourth principle is consistent action. The disciplined daily behaviors that gradually accumulate into significant achievements. Action answers the question, when? When will you execute your plans? When will you do what needs to be done, regardless of mood or circumstance? Consistency is the bridge between potential and performance. It transforms occasional bursts of brilliance into sustained excellence. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade of consistent effort. The secret to consistency is developing habits that make success automatic. When positive behaviors become habitual, they no longer require willpower. They become your default response rather than your conscious choice. To build consistency, focus on systems rather than goals. A goal is a target to hit. A system is the process that leads to the target. Goals can motivate you temporarily. Systems change you permanently. Develop morning routines that set your day up for success. Create evening rituals that prepare you for tomorrow. Establish weekly review practices that keep you aligned with your highest priorities. Remember, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your daily disciplines predict your ultimate destiny. The fifth principle is developing a resilient mindset that transforms obstacles into opportunities. Resilience answers the question, what if? What if things don't go according to plan? What if you face unexpected resistance? What if initial attempts fail? Resilience is not just bouncing back from setbacks. It's bouncing forward. It's using adversity as a catalyst for growth rather than an excuse for surrender. The most successful people aren't those who experience the fewest problems, but those who respond most effectively to the problems they experience. The foundation of resilience is perspective, the ability to interpret events in ways that empower rather than diminish you. This doesn't mean denying reality, but framing reality in ways that heighten possibility rather than highlight limitation. To build resilience, practice gratitude daily, focusing on progress rather than perfection. Surround yourself with supportive relationships that encourage authenticity and growth. Develop physical practices that strengthen your body's capacity to handle stress. Create mental habits that challenge negative thought patterns and replace them with constructive alternatives. Remember, life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. You cannot control all circumstances, but you can control all responses. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Having established the principles that govern success, let's examine the characteristics that distinguish genuine achievers from casual dreamers. Success leaves clues, and by studying these patterns, we can accelerate our own development. The first distinguishing trait of achievers is ownership mentality. They take complete responsibility for their results rather than blaming external factors for their failures. They never say, I couldn't, because they wouldn't. They ask, how can I, even if they don't. They reject the victim narrative and embrace the creator narrative. They understand that responsibility is the ability to choose your response regardless of external circumstances. The second trait is growth orientation. Achievers are less interested in proving themselves and more interested in improving themselves. They don't see challenges as tests of their worth, but as opportunities for their development. They embrace the discomfort of learning because they value progress more than preservation of ego. They are constantly asking, how can I get better, rather than how can I look good? The third trait is solution focus. When confronted with problems, achievers immediately begin generating potential solutions rather than elaborating on why the problem exists or who is to blame. They train their minds to ask what can be done rather than why did this happen. They understand that problem-focused thinking expands problems, while solution-focused thinking expands possibilities. The fourth trait is future orientation. Achievers invest significantly more mental energy imagining future possibilities than remembering past limitations. They use the past for learning, not limiting. They extract lessons from experience without extracting excuses from experience. They understand that your history is meant to be a reference, not a residence. You can visit the past, but you mustn't live there. The fifth trait is disciplined execution. Achievers don't just know what to do, they actually do what they know. They bridge the gap between knowledge and application, between intention and action. They understand that in the arena of achievement, committed action always defeats theoretical knowledge. One person with commitment will accomplish more than 100 people with mere interest. The thought patterns of achievers are equally distinctive. They practice possibility thinking rather than probability thinking. They ask what could be, not just what has been. They engage in abundance thinking rather than scarcity thinking, focusing on expanding resources rather than dividing them. They employ both and thinking rather than either or thinking, seeking synthesis of apparently contradictory ideas rather than forced choice between them. The habits of achievers create cumulative advantage over time. They practice deliberate learning, investing at least 30 minutes daily in skill development regardless of external demands. They engage in strategic relationship building, intentionally cultivating connections with those who elevate their thinking and expand their opportunities. They commit to regular reflection, creating space to process experiences and extract meaningful insights that inform future decisions. The path to success is never without obstacles. Understanding common barriers and developing strategies to overcome them is essential for sustained achievement. The first major obstacle is fear, particularly fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of the unknown. Fear paralyzes potential and prevents action. To overcome fear, you must understand its nature. Fear is not a command. It's information. It reveals areas where growth is needed, not reasons why growth is impossible. The practical strategy for conquering fear is gradual exposure. Identify small actions that trigger mild fear, then systematically execute those actions until the fear dissipates. Then progress to slightly larger challenges. Through this process of progressive desensitization, you expand your comfort zone until actions that once terrified you become routine. The second obstacle is limiting beliefs. Internal assumptions about what's possible for you and what you deserve to achieve. These invisible barriers often operate below conscious awareness, yet powerfully constrain behavior. To overcome limiting beliefs, you must first make them visible through honest self-examination. Ask yourself, what outcomes do I believe are impossible for me? What success do I believe is reserved for others but not for me? What opportunities do I believe are closed to someone with my background or circumstances? Once identified, these beliefs must be systematically challenged with evidence of others who have overcome similar limitations and with your own experiences of exceeding previous boundaries. The third obstacle is negative environment, surroundings that reinforce mediocrity rather than excellence. Your environment includes physical spaces, information sources, and especially relationships. Most people substantially underestimate how powerfully their environment shapes their performance. To overcome environmental limitations, you must become intentional about designing surroundings that support your highest aspirations. This often requires difficult decisions about relationships that may be comfortable but not conducive to growth. Remember, some relationships are meant for a season, not a lifetime. Some people come into your life as bridges, not destinations. The fourth obstacle is resistance to change. The natural human tendency to prefer the familiar discomfort over the unfamiliar improvement. Change requires energy, creates uncertainty, and often triggers insecurity. Yet all growth demands change. To overcome resistance, connect emotionally with the consequences of not changing, feel the pain of remaining stagnant, visualize the cost of maintaining the status quo for another 5 years, then connect emotionally with the benefits of changing, feel the joy of breaking through limitations, visualize the rewards of transformation. When the perceived pain of staying the same exceeds the perceived pain of changing, transformation becomes inevitable. The fifth obstacle is failure itself. Not the event of failure, but the interpretation of failure as final rather than formative. Achievers understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's an essential component of success. Every significant breakthrough comes preceded by multiple breakdowns. To transform failure into feedback, extract specific lessons from each setback. Ask what worked that I should continue What didn't work that I should modify? What was missing that I should add? What was excessive that I should reduce? These questions convert failure from a dead end into a detour, from a period into a comma. Just as certain environments inhibit growth, other environments accelerate it. Creating conditions that nurture achievement is a critical yet often overlooked strategy for success. The first environmental factor is your physical space. Your surroundings speak constantly to your subconscious, either affirming or undermining your highest aspirations. The organization of your workspace, the inspirational elements in your home, the tools you use daily, all these physical components influence your productivity, creativity, and persistence. To optimize your physical environment, eliminate visual clutter that fragments attention. Create dedicated spaces for your most important work. Surround yourself with symbols of your vision and reminders of your purpose. Remember, your environment should reflect who you're becoming, not just who you've been. The second environmental factor is your information diet. The books you read, podcasts you hear, videos you watch, and conversations you engage in shape your thinking more profoundly than most realize. Most struggling people consume information randomly rather than strategically. To optimize your information environment, audit your current consumption patterns. Eliminate sources that reinforce limitation or distraction. Intentionally seek content that challenges your thinking, expands your perspective, and provides practical strategies for growth. Develop the discipline of deep reading rather than superficial skimming. Create systems for capturing and reviewing important insights rather than allowing them to evaporate after initial exposure. The third and most crucial environmental factor is your relational network. The 5 people you interact with most frequently shape your standards, influence your expectations, affect your language patterns, and impact your belief in what's possible. Most people dramatically underestimate how profoundly their social connections determine their personal outcomes. To optimize your relational environment, conduct a careful inventory of your closest associations. Which relationships elevate your thinking? Which ones expand your sense of possibility? Which ones challenge you to higher standards? Conversely, which relationships reinforce limitation? Which ones normalize mediocrity? Which ones subtly discourage ambition? Based on this assessment, make strategic decisions about time allocation. This doesn't necessarily mean eliminating all challenging relationships, but it does mean being intentional about their influence in your life. Simultaneously, develop a specific plan for connecting with individuals who model the success you seek. Remember, mentorship doesn't always require direct personal contact. You can be mentored through books, recordings, and careful study of someone's work and methodology. The goal is not proximity, but impact, allowing their thinking to shape your thinking, their standards to elevate your standard. As you apply these principles and progress toward greater achievement, you must understand the responsibility that accompanies success. True success is never solely for personal benefit, but for broader impact. The first responsibility is stewardship, recognizing that your talents, opportunities, and resources are not ultimately about you, but about your contribution. You are not the owner of your gifts, but the manager of them. This perspective transforms success from a destination to a distribution center, from consumption to contribution. The practical expression of stewardship is generosity, the consistent sharing of your knowledge, skills, influence, and resources to elevate others. Generosity is not optional for sustained success. It's essential. Whatever you hoard eventually stagnates. Whatever you circulate continues to appreciate. The second responsibility is integrity, maintaining consistent character regardless of circumstance or temptation. As visibility increases, so does vulnerability to compromise. Many potentially great achievements have been undermined by character failures that could have been prevented through intentional character development. The practical expression of integrity is keeping promises, especially promises to yourself. Integrity is built decision by decision, commitment by commitment. It's doing what you said you would do, when you said you would do it, how you said you would do it, whether you feel like it or not. The third responsibility is legacy thinking, considering the long-term impact of current decisions on future generations. Legacy answers the question, what remains when you are gone? What continues to speak when you are silent? What influence persists beyond your presence? The practical expression of legacy thinking is documentation and teaching, capturing your insights and methodically transferring your knowledge to others. The height of your impact is measured not by what you personally accomplish, but by what you enable others to accomplish because of your influence. Having explored the principles, characteristics, obstacles, and responsibilities of success, let's conclude with specific action steps for implementing these insights immediately. Within 24 hours, clarify your personal definition of success. Write it down in specific, measurable terms across all life dimensions, not just career, but relationships, health, personal growth, and contribution. Identify your current biggest obstacle and develop a specific plan to address it. Don't attempt to tackle everything simultaneously. Focus on the constraint that, once removed, will create the greatest forward momentum. Schedule a personal retreat, even if brief, to reflect deeply on your purpose and vision. This isn't leisure, it's strategic withdrawal to gain perspective and clarity before re-engaging. Audit your daily habits, identifying one positive habit to strengthen and one negative habit to eliminate. Remember that success is largely the product of daily disciplines compounded over time. Reach out to someone who models the success you desire. Request a conversation, ask specific questions, and listen intently for principles you can adapt to your situation. Within 30 days, create detailed written descriptions of your desired outcomes in each major life area with specific metrics for measuring progress. These become your navigational tools for daily decision making. Develop a personal growth curriculum including books, courses, and experiences specifically targeted to develop your highest leverage skills and mindsets. Establish a morning routine that includes visualization of successful outcomes, review of your most important goals, and preparation for your day's highest priorities. Form or join an accountability group committed to mutual support and honest feedback. Isolated achievement is rare. Connected achievement is sustainable. Begin documenting your journey through journaling, recording, or creating content that captures your insights and experiences. This practice deepens learning and creates resources for others. Within 1 year, master one new high-value skill that significantly increases your contribution capacity. Focus on depth rather than breadth, becoming exceptional at something specific rather than adequate at many things. Build a personal advisory board of 3 and 5 individuals who bring diverse perspectives and experiences to help you evaluate opportunities and navigate challenges. Create a system for measuring progress across all important dimensions, reviewing it at least quarterly to identify patterns and make adjustments. Develop a signature approach to your work, a distinctive methodology that leverages your unique strengths and perspective. This becomes your competitive advantage and the foundation of your long-term impact. Establish a teaching platform, whether formal or informal, to begin sharing your developing expertise with others who are earlier in their journey. Within 5 years, build an organization or system that scales your impact beyond your personal capacity. This might be a business, nonprofit, movement, or methodology that others can implement. Develop 3 to 5 leaders who can eventually surpass your own achievements. Their success becomes part of your legacy. Create intellectual property that captures your unique insights and approaches. allowing them to influence others even in your absence. Establish financial independence that provides options for your next phase of contribution without being limited by basic needs. Begin intentionally transferring your knowledge, relationships, and opportunities to the next generation, ensuring your impact outlasts your direct involvement. The difference between where you are and where you could be is the gap between accidental living and intentional living. Success is never an accident. It is always the predictable result of clear purpose, compelling vision, effective strategies, consistent action, and resilient responses to inevitable challenges. Your life represents unlimited potential waiting to be activated through conscious choice. The future is not something that happens to you, it's something that happens through you. You are not a thermometer that merely records the temperature of your environment. You are a thermostat that sets it. I challenge you today to make the fundamental decision that changes everything. The decision to take complete ownership of your outcomes. Stop waiting for perfect circumstances. Stop blaming past limitations. Stop expecting others to create opportunities for you that you haven't created for yourself. Instead, declare with unshakable conviction, I am responsible for my destiny. I am the primary creative force in my life. I will no longer make excuses, but only progress. I will no longer blame others, but only better myself. I will no longer wait for opportunity, but create it. I will no longer hope for success, but engineer it. Remember, success is never an accident. It is always a choice. Today is your day to choose. The world awaits your decision.